Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky, and I'm joined as always by the man who's been home alone for over a week now. So I presume he also has porno reactions. It's Greg. How are you today, Greg?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm very well. I don't have
Good.
porno reactions because I live in a heavily censored country.
You've got a VPN there, don't you? That's what I used to love when I lived in Dubai. Obviously I always had a VPN, but I loved it when you went onto Pirate Bay. Like they allowed Pirate Bay wasn't blocked. You could go on Pirate Bay and download anything. But if you clicked on porn on Pirate Bay, then it came up with a blocked sign. So I'm like, you've gone to the trouble to block that, but you haven't blocked Pirate Bay in total. That's just wonderful. So you had to put the VPN on if you were wanting to download porn from Pirate Bay.
I've only got a VPN on my phone, mainly so I can WhatsApp call people at home, because WhatsApp calling is still not allowed in Dubai. They want to make sure that the phone companies don't lose out, I imagine. So yeah, I've just been doing a bit of life admin, doing a bit of cleaning, cleaned the bathroom this morning. Yeah, did that, a bit of ironing, nothing exciting. Watched our movie yesterday, so I'm interested to talk. I'm looking forward to talking about it to you shortly.
Oh, you're living the rock and roll lifestyle here, Greg. You're really painting to bachelor status.
I tell you what I have watched that I really enjoyed over the last couple of days as well. I watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary on Netflix.
Oh, it's brilliant,
it's class, yeah. And I watched the Wham documentary as well.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's so good. It kind of broke my heart, that Wham documentary. Yeah. It's just, because about George. And I'd watched there was a Channel 4 documentary, The Death of George Michael. I don't know if you watched that.
I think so.
And that was quite sad. But the Wham documentary just, Wham was just so much fucking fun. Like, you don't get that nowadays. Like, I ended up going down a rabbit hole and I'm watching, Wake Me Up Before You Go on YouTube. And I'm like, where's this nowadays? This is so much it's just fucking fun. Like, and it's so good. I would say, like, watching back, because I watched it with my wife and we're both kind of just astounded. It's very, it's similar of when you watch, like, stuff with Freddie Mercury back in the day. And you're like, really? People didn't know that... And it's such a shame that he had to hide it for all these years, but my God, when he got caught in the toilet and he just gave the most perfect response, that outside video has to go down as one of the greatest comeback things.
It's a fucking great song
for him
as well,
to be dressed. It's a fucking great song, and the video is incredible. Him dressed up as a in this tight LA cop outfit and with the urinal spinning round. It's what a fucking guy. George Michael was an absolute legend, and he did so much stuff for people that I think once he died, it kind of came out, like, all the stuff that he did. Like, he used to give people money that, couples that were couldn't have kids, he would give them money to do IVF and stuff, and all kind of undercover, kind of like under an alias type thing, and all this kind and generous stuff that he did. Plus, he was a fucking legend. I mean, that scene that he filmed in Extras when he's with Gerard Kelly, when he's on the park bench and he's got a kebab and he's like smoking a joint and he's like cottaging. Just a fucking legend. He was a proper bloke as well. He's smoking a doobie, crashing into snappy snaps and stuff. What a guy. I really genuinely miss George Michael.
How fucking good looking was Andrew Ridgeley back in the
Jesus.
You know what I mean? It's like,
he was,
proper man crush. One of my school friends, Rachel, who I used to go to school with when I was at school in England, she's got a charity for children's books, and she got invited on to Radio 4 to talk about it. There's like a sort of panel talk show on Radio 4, BBC Radio 4 on a Saturday morning, and Andrew Ridgeley was one of the guests. So they have the sort of format is they have all the guests on together, and they all sort of talk about whatever they're there to talk about, but they talk to each other as well, and it's all very convivial. So she was quite excited to be on I think his book was out or something. He might have wrote an autobiography a few years ago. Yeah.
He did, I think it was like My Life with George. I think.
So I think he was on to talk about that. But yeah, fucking hell, good looking guy.
I mean, he went out with fucking Karen Woodward from Bananarama for like about 20 years. They lived together and, what a legend. And it was so good to see Pepsi and Shirley as well. I mean, Shirley's still a good looking woman too. Yeah. Like nowadays. She's...
But Pepsi isn't.
Oh, well, yeah. Pepsi is, but I'm just saying. You just said that Andrew Ridgely was a good looking bloke. You never said George Michael was a good looking guy.
Not really my type, George Michael, but
yeah, it's that's a wonderful documentary.
Really enjoyed
it. It's so good, so much fun. Like just such a good fun band. Like I miss that kind of thing.
I like the fact that when they went their separate ways, it was very amicable. You know what I mean? Like, there was no sort of animosity or anything like that. It was they had the big farewell concert at Wembley, and they obviously remained friends for the rest of George Michael's life, I would imagine.
That was I was kind of gutted. Was it last year or the year before? It was 2 years ago. Because it was always my favourite trivia question was what was the highest selling single in the UK never to get to number one? And it's Last Christmas by Wham, because of course Band-Aid beat it. But then I think 2 years ago it did get to number one because nowadays you've got all the streaming, and I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, that's fucking spoiled. But then it still gives the great trivia question of, but it's not a great trivia question, is it? It was like in the same year who had like a top 2 hit with a band, in a duo, and as a solo artist. And it's George Michael, because in the same year you had Careless Whisper, Last Christmas, and of course Band-Aid. But yeah, so it kind of ruined that. It's probably one of my favourite YouTube clips as well, is have you ever seen Sexy Sax Man? Oh. And it's just a guy with a saxophone playing Careless Whisper. And he goes into it's an American video, but he goes into shopping malls and stuff, and he just plays Careless Whisper over and over again. And the security guards throw him out and stuff, and his mate's there with him. I'm going to send this to you because it's fucking brilliant. He's like, oh, play that one song, play that George Michael song, and he, it's a Sexy Sax Man on YouTube. Okay. Search it out. It's fucking phenomenal. Okay, right. We didn't even speak about the Arnie documentary. That's brilliant as well. Yeah. It's fantastic, and you just forget how big Arnie was in the day.
Untold.
And it made me. I made my wife watch Terminator after we'd watched the Arnie documentary, and I really want to watch Twins and Kindergarten Cop again.
Twins was the first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I ever saw him in, because I saw that at the cinema. I went with my mate to see it at the cinema, and I think I was about 10 or 11. So I was aware of him, but it was quite strict in my house until I turned sort of 13 or 14, and then for whatever reason it just sanctions were removed and I was able to watch whatever I wanted, or unless I went to see my dad, in which case I could watch whatever I wanted.
We're watching Porky's tonight, Greg.
But yeah, I mean, I was surprised to learn that he, through some good business moves as a successful bodybuilder, he was a millionaire before he ever acted, before his acting career took off,
Yeah, I was surprised at that as well. And fucking fair play to him. Absolute genius.
What I liked on the last episode, I watched the last episode this morning, and it made me feel a little bit emotional, actually, because it's sort of like his part in Shaw, and he says, some people will say I'm a self-made man, and I'm not. I had the dream and the vision and the motivation, but a lot of people helped me get to where I am. A lot of people, and I thought, fucking fair play, Yeah,
he comes across as very humble. Kind of, he realised where he's come from, and he, realised the mistakes he's made, and when he's talking about it's not funny, but it is in a way when he's, it comes out that Maria effectively says to him, like, did you fuck the maid? Is that your son? And he's like, yeah. But you can tell he really regrets that because, he does. Like, he really kind of is upset by that. But it's, I thought he was a very humble kind of guy and comes across well, just likes his cigars and his big cars and stuff. And, he's kind of inspiration. He's genuinely, I would say, because he was in that documentary that was on Netflix. Well, it must have been about 3 years ago now. I can't remember what the name of it was now, but it's the one about like vegan.
Game Changers.
Yes, Game Changers. That's the one, because he's on that, and I came home. I think I'd been out walking the dog, and my wife was watching it, and that's kind of one of the reasons I gave up eating meat, because Arnie was on it, and the way he's talking about it, and it's not brainwashing, like you shouldn't eat, poor animals and stuff. He's like, just try like one day not eating meat, and then maybe try 2 days, and then maybe 3, and see how you go. And I was like, wow, if Arnie can do it, maybe I could give it a try. And that's exactly what I did. And I haven't really eaten meat since.
Anyway, I guess, just spoken for 17 minutes about a load of non-Scottish media. Perhaps we should dive into the news.
Yes, let's have a look at the news then, Greg. What do we need to say before we cue the news?
The jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg, what have you seen first this week from Scotland that you'd like to share with me and our lovely listeners?
So my first story comes from a source that I don't normally look at, but it comes from the Scottish Daily Express from last week, 7th of July. The headline reads, "Anger as male stripper booked for family-friendly pride event at the Borough Collection in Glasgow." Exclusive. This is an exclusive to the Daily Express. SNP-run Glasgow City Council got to get a dig in at the SNP, books a mareman and burlesque dancer whose adult shows include striptease, fetish and filth to perform to kids and show them how to apply performance makeup. So Pride at the Borough Collection was promised to be a jam-packed day of family-friendly activity, including face painting, storytelling, music and live art from Glasgow-based performer Tom Harlow. His adult shows promise striptease, burlesque, fetish, and campaigners say his social media accounts promote extremely sexualised content. Mr. Harlow, who often performs as a mareman, cancelled an appearance at a children's storytelling event in Stirling in September last year after a backlash from parents led by the Us For Them campaign group. Stirling Council said staff at the toll booth had been subjected to abuse. Ahead of Saturday's event at the Borough, Mary Howden, coordinator at the Women's Rights Network Scotland, described the booking as a clear safeguarding fail. She added, "We are very disappointed that organisations which should be up to date on safeguarding would allow a male stripper around children. While we're relieved that the Stirling event was cancelled, it appears he will still be brought to children in Glasgow." The Borough Collection in Glasgow's Pollock Park is ran by Glasgow Life, an arm's-length body of the SNP-run City Council, and the free event will ultimately be funded by city taxpayers. The museum was reopened in 2022 after a £68 million renovation which lasted more than 5 years. Right, you ought to brace yourself for this. Honestly, the Women Won't Wished group, which is a women's rights organisation, said, "We are very concerned that an adult performer whose social media accounts promote extremely sexualised content will be performing to children." So there's a picture here of Tom, which I'm going to snap and send to you. Tell me who he reminds you of. And it's coming to you.
This is great podcast content.
I know. This is just for you and me. He's the one standing up. Who's it remind you of?
I think you can tell by my reaction that you know exactly who I'm thinking of.
It's like a very young our mutual friend. So Stuart Walton, who's the chair of the Scottish Union for Education, said, "It is unclear why events for children need to include individuals who have made their name as adult sex entertainers. Tom Harlow often wears a mermaid's tail and reads alternative, empowering fairy tales to children. And given this, it seems reasonable for parents to be concerned about what appears to be confusion around adult and children's entertainment. He added, Glasgow City Council recently passed a motion claiming that those who oppose drag acts entertaining children are part of some right-wing minority. But I suspect if you talk to most parents and showed them Harlow's website, they would scratch their heads and think there was something clearly unhinged about what's going on. So the Glasgow-based performer Tom will be performing classic cabaret songs inspired by pieces in the Borough collection, including Jacob Epstein's 1920 sculpture of the singer and entertainer Lillian Shelley. Tom is aware of the family nature of this event and has developed a bespoke performance which is suitable for the audience, which is kind of what you would expect. It's so funny, like, when you read the language in the way that these articles are written on the Sunday Express, there's clearly an agenda, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Tom wasn't going to turn up and start waving his bollocks at a load of children at the Borough collection, do you know what I mean?
So what is the issue here? The guy Tom is a children's entertainer, but he's also a drag act.
Basically, yeah.
And they're obviously worried that, exactly as you've said, he's going to get his balls out in front of the kids. But of course he's not. Like, why? Now, I'm not a parent. I don't have kids. I know you, obviously. I know you do. You've obviously got 2 kids. This would never cross my mind. I would not be worried about a drag act performing in front of my kids because it's normal. Like, what's wrong with that? But these people are. Would you be offended at that?
Of course not. I mean, the guy's obviously he knows what the event is. So, and it said he's put together a kind of bespoke show that's suitable for everybody that's there. You know, he's not going to be doing his merman and reading dirty fairy tales to them or anything. Do you know what I mean?
These are the same people that will probably take their kids to the panto where men dress up as dames. And they're not offended by that, but they're offended by this. That is fucking ridiculous.
It's bizarre.
Like, the guy's doing an incredible service to try and educate and teach and entertain kids. And these people are offended because he likes to wear a mermaid tail.
And read dirty fairy tales to adults.
What the hell? What kind of dirty fairy tales do you read? Like, Rapunzel fingering the Jolly Green Giant or something. I'm mixing up Jack and the Beanstalk with Jolly Green Giant there, the giant there. But and I don't know why Rapunzel would be fingering the Jolly Green Giant.
I mean, it'd be better than the Jolly Green Giant fingering Rapunzel. I mean, it'd make a right mess.
That's true, yeah. Oh, yeah, that would, all that hair. Oh, come on, get over yourselves, Scottish Daily Express. This is why we don't have stories from the Scottish Daily Express, Greg, because they're just fucking full of arseholes. Like, this is terrible. The poor guy, I feel really sorry for him. He's trying to do a good thing and entertain kids and educate them and do a good service, and he's being vilified because he likes to read dirty fairy tales. That's a fucking great idea for a podcast, that dirty fairy tale kind of podcast.
So the Women Won't Weesht have got a Twitter account.
Women Won't Tweet.
Women Won't Weesht. I was just having a look to see if there was anything amusing on there, but it doesn't seem like there is.
Probably not. Probably clutching their pearls, fucking
thumping their chests, and demanding that their tax pounds are not spent on an adult performer singing songs.
They probably
to kids.
They probably think like Last of the Summer Wine is like a racy comedy or something.
Yeah. Exactly. I know. The thing is, to your earlier point about the panto, like some of these like BBC comedies that are considered like classic comedies, stuff like Are You Being Served? I mean, it's like overt innuendo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What? Oh, so you don't think Mrs. Slocum's pussy is...
You know what I mean? It's like...
You know what I mean?
Like John Inman and all that, you know what I mean?
Great. Look at I mean, I've never seen a single episode of it, but the number one sitcom in the UK is an Irish man dressed up as a woman called Mrs. Brown's Boys. Now, I bet they are the same people that laugh about watching that, but yet they're offended at some guy trying to make a living and educate their kids about proper life
art.
Issues that they should be aware of. And about art and about, it's not even just about that. It's about educating them about other things that they should be aware of. But they're seeing it as, my, wee Davey's going to come home wearing a frock if he sees that filth. That's not what we should be doing. Oh no, he's going to be wearing women's knickers before we know it.
Yeah, indeed.
Fucking disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Mrs. Slocum's pussy. Greg, we're not that far away from people blacking up on TV and making massively, overt jokes and racist jokes. And we're not that far away from it now. But and they're the same people that I guarantee you were probably pissing themselves at In Sickness and in Health.
Love Thy Neighbour.
It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, and Love Thy Neighbour, and
yeah,
exactly. Mind your language. But they're
mind
offended
your
at
language.
this disgrace.
I mean, even for the time, like Spike,
it's quite
Spike Milligan, like playing an Indian man. Fucking hell, honestly. Like when you see like that sort of thing, when these sort of retro TV shows and stuff, and it's just like, how the fuck did that get commissioned? Do you know what I mean? I know that it was a different time, and maybe perspectives weren't as broad as they are now, but fucking hell, still.
I mean, the famous one is of course, Heil Hitler, I'm Home, that lasted one episode and then got canned. And you're like, but they still made an episode and aired it, and they thought that was a good idea. Yeah. And like, really? It's available on YouTube if anyone wants to see it. It's not bad, actually.
Anyway, that's my first story. What's your first story for this episode?
My first story is from the Daily Record this week, Greg, and it is a 50-year-old woman has confessed to taking days off work to spend time gaming. Self-confessed nerd Caroline Alexander, 50, takes around 7 days of annual leave each year to play her Xbox Series X when big games are released. She's been gaming since she was 6 and has even roped in her husband Phil, with the pair now spending date nights playing Diablo 4. Caroline, who gets... What are you laughing at Diablo 4?
Randoms.
Caroline, who gets 22 days of annual leave each year, first fell in love with gaming through a popular arcade game, Jet Set Willy, in January 1982, before moving on to modern consoles. Now, she plays modern classics like Fable, Diablo 3, and Mass Effect, with 57-year-old Phil, a computer programmer, after demanding he joined her beloved hobby. Phil's a computer programmer. I'm pretty sure she didn't have to demand that much. Caroline, who has been taking annual leave to game for 7 years, began booking weeks off after the release of Dragon Age Inquisition, an action role-playing game, and now continues to take annual leave for every big game release. Caroline from Dundee said, "I've always been a nerd and I love it. I tell my co-workers about my staycation of gaming. I don't use my annual leave for anything else important. It's definitely worth the days off." Since childhood, Caroline says she was only interested in nerdy activities and fell in love with gaming upon the release of arcade games in 1982. Despite her mum being keen for her to develop more feminine hobbies, I bet her mum read the Daily Express, she gave up after buying Caroline her first console, the Sega Master System, in 1989. Caroline said, "My mum never thought any man would want me." A girl gamer who loved spending their evenings killing monsters. Fortunately, she was wrong. I can tell you, Caroline, it's quite a niche porn for gamer girls. After attempting to date men who didn't share her passion for gaming, the researcher eventually included her gaming interest in her OkCupid bio. Caroline and Phil matched in October 2016 and began chatting online. Caroline said, "I invited him over and I sat him down. I passed him an Xbox controller. I let him know that for the relationship to work, he needed to be a gamer." After teaching her new partner the ropes, the lovebirds continued to game together and they got married in December 2020. Phil was quickly introduced to Caroline's annual leave scheme and quickly followed suit. Phil, who also does stand-up comedy, said, "I very quickly came around to gaming. She was honest about her love for gaming. It's just like taking time off for a holiday, but this one is digital. Now, this is a talking point we're going to come back to, Greg. Caroline, who is a mum of 9 cats, all named after Scottish foods, we're going to come back to this, started to book weeks off on her job when the release of Dragon Age Inquisition came out in May 2016. She continued this trend with the release of Elden Ring, Diablo 4, and The Witcher 3. In total, Caroline says she has taken 7 weeks holiday over 7 years to sit on her sofa and game. She spends 14 hours a week playing, and she said, "I'm proud to be a gamer. Everyone is shocked by my age, but my time is spent gaming every week. I have thousands of hours clocked on Diablo 3 alone. I'm so glad I was able to find someone that accepts my hobby. I can't wait for the next big game so I can book off another week." So, there's a few things I wanted to discuss about this. So obviously I wanted to discuss gaming in general, but let's go back to this quite quickly. She has 9 cats named after Scottish foods. Now, it doesn't name the cats, unfortunately. So obvious one is haggis.
Yep. Iron Brew.
I'm kind of lost after that. I mean, would it be Iron Brew? Like, Stovies was going to be my kind of joke one that I thought was funny. Like maybe Cranachan.
Square sausage.
Tablet.
Yeah. What else?
Tunnock's tea cake. Tunnock.
Caramel wafer.
Might be. Caramel log.
Yeah, maybe. I had some smoked salmon yesterday. I don't know if you'd agree with this, but maybe it's just what I've associated it with over my life, but it just smells really Scottish, smoked salmon to me. Like when I opened the packet and I got the smell of smoked salmon, it sort of took me back to like thick carpeted living rooms, the 1980s, and Big Daddy and the wrestling, and it just, I don't know, like my grand's living room. It's just, but I don't know, I'll always really associate it with Scotland, the smell of smoked salmon.
Just reminds me of fish, I would say.
It doesn't really smell like fish though, does it?
Well, it fucking does. Smoked salmon. Anyway, so my other question is, I mean, obviously I'm not going to get bogged down in names, but you're a bit of a gamer as well, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I am. Do you want to know something interesting about Jet Set Willy? Jet Set Willy fact. So,
yes. Go on then.
The guy who wrote and developed the game never thought that anybody would get like to the end of it. He thought it was too hard, so he just fucking stopped designing levels. So when you get to the end of the game, there's no sort of you just finish like the last level, and it's just like finishing any level. There's no like, because the guy thought no one's going to get this far. I can't be arsed to do anymore.
Have you ever taken a day off to play video game or anything?
I haven't, but my old flatmate Dale, I remember which one was it? Maybe Final Fantasy 7 or 8 on the PlayStation came out, and he bought it on the Sunday, and he phoned in sick on the Monday, and I was still working in the restaurant, so I got in quite late on Sunday night, and he was sitting playing it, and I went to bed. And I got up in the morning and he was still sitting playing it. And I was like, "Have you been to bed?" And he was like, "No." It's like, fucking hell. So I was working a day shift, and I got back from work about 6 o'clock, and he's fucking still sitting playing this game. I said, have you been to bed? And he's like, "No, I'm going to go to bed early tonight." He didn't go to bed early. I went to bed at like midnight, and he was fucking still up playing. It's like, you're gonna be fucked.
You're not annoyed you couldn't watch the TV?
Well, I was a bit annoyed about that. I seem to recall, did you not take the day off when one of the Grand Theft Autos came out to play it? One of the old ones?
No, I went to a midnight opening to get Grand Theft Auto 3.
Right.
I definitely went to Virgin midnight opening to get that, and then played it until like 6 a.m. or something, and then a few hours sleep. I think I did take a day off work for one of and it's still to this day my Achilles heel, the Football Manager games. I'm pretty sure I took a day off for one of those coming out and just sat and played it. That's the one game that is definitely my Achilles heel. I remember playing with a couple of our friends. We played like an online game, like on a Friday, Saturday night. We would just sit in our respective homes and play Football Manager, and you could always tell one of them, Hammy, he would, around about maybe like 10, 11 p.m, he would get a bit pissed and he would just start playing fucking ridiculous tactics, like call it monkey madness. Like he would just make stupid substitutions, and we could tell he was pissed by this point. And he's just doing stupid things, and we're like, okay, right, Hammy's pissed now. And then he would just go offline and but yeah, that's about it. I've never taken another day off or anything for that. So
yeah, no, I still quite enjoy gaming, but it doesn't. I think the last game that probably took too much of my time really was the Spider-Man game on the PS4. Like I played that a lot. But that's probably the last one that's really sort of kept me glued to the console. But yeah, I can't imagine taking a day off to sit and play a video game, especially those kind of games. I'm not those sort of sorcery fantasy games aren't my cup of tea at all.
Is that what like a Diablo is? I genuinely have no idea. I would have thought it was like a first person shooter or something, which I have never been on board with, like just never captured
I think
me.
it's a sort of RPG type game.
Okay. Like a Shadowlands type thing. That's a fucking deep cut for anyone. Who'd get that.
You've lost me in Shadowlands, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. I don't even know if that's the name of the game actually, Shadowlands.
just saying things that sound like games.
Just Shadowlands. Yeah, I thought
it was an Anthony Hopkins film.
Anyway, so yeah, I think it was actually. I think you're right. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to Google that game now. I remember having it for the was it Super Nintendo, I think. Yeah, it must have been Super Nintendo. I'll have to Google that. Okay. Anyway, so that is our hero and her gaming. So what else have you seen this week, Greg?
Well, this next one comes from the Scottish Sun, and they are reporting that the Hindu crisis is over.
I didn't know there was one.
There's a Hindu crisis because there's a global shortage of inflatable penises. But thankfully, a huge shipment is set to arrive in Scotland. So any ladies listening who are planning their hen or the hen of a friend or whatever can rest easy. A big package. I mean, the reporter's having a lot of fun here. A big package of giant willies is to arrive in Scotland this month, bringing huge relief on hen party planners. We revealed last year how droops in the global supply chain led to a shortage of penis-shaped straws and inflatables. But 6,000 blow-up blokes, 3,000 portable peckers, and a pile of 6-foot rubber winkles are set to arrive just in time to save summer festivities. Matt Maver, who's the boss of hen and stag do firm Last Night of Freedom, said, "Rude accessories are our bread and butter, so not having any willies come into stock has been hard to swallow." That's why we are so desperate for these to arrive. A hen party without a blow-up penis just isn't the same. Thankfully, everyone's prayers have been answered, and there should be more than enough willies and blow-up dolls to get through the year. The fake phalluses have been hard to come by due to sky-high shipping costs amid problems with the global supply chain, partially caused by China's tough COVID lockdown rules. It meant those lucky enough to grasp the novelty prop have paid much more than they did 10 years ago. Party chief Matt added, "We searched long and hard to find a British firm that would be able to fill in, but nobody was able to step up to the plate." Ultimately, the world is still very reliant on the likes of China for manufacturing, be it toys, mobile phones, or in this case, huge inflatable willies. The shipment of schlongs is due to arrive in the UK.
The shipment of schlongs.
It's due to arrive in the UK on the 23rd of July. However, the ship must still navigate its way through the Suez Canal, sparking jitters after the huge Ever Given vessel got stuck there for 6 days in 2021. So apparently, according to Matt, a hen party is just not the same without a huge inflatable cock. Having never attended a hen party, I'll have to take his word for it.
Yeah, I've never been to a hen party either, but I'd imagine a big inflatable cock is kind of a given, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I thought that all that was a wee bit old-fashioned. you know. I thought maybe that women were a bit like hen parties were a bit more sophisticated these days.
Yeah, I think so. I've always wanted to check, actually. I mean, it's something we need to ask the ladies. Like, when you go into a gents' toilet in Aberdeen, for example, there'll be a vending machine that will sell Rough Rider condoms or ribbed Delight or whatever. And then I know Ma Cameron's especially had it. You could buy a blow-up sheet from the vending machine, which obviously was much hilarity, but it did have a working orifice that you could fuck if you wanted to. I wonder if the female toilets have a vending machine that sells, you know, tampons and maybe inflatable cocks. I don't know.
Well, write in and tell us. We're dying to find out, evidently. I used to quite like it if you were in the pub and they could do it on a Saturday and like a hen do would come in, because sometimes they'd want you to kind of give the bride a wee peck on the cheek, you know what I mean, for luck.
Did you like that? Did that excite you?
Well, you know, if she was attractive, then yes. If she wasn't, then not as much. That was probably the moment to go to the toilet and see what's in the vending machine.
Okay, so we're glad to hear that this crisis has been averted then, that this shipment of inflatable cocks from China is going to arrive, and Scottish hen parties, because we're obviously approaching summer, so it's hen party season, so they'll be able to wave their big inflatable cocks around and enjoy themselves.
I do take my hat off a bit to the boy Matt, who runs the company, because he's managed to get as many sort of cock innuendos into his statement as possible. You know what I mean? And
it's fantastic. Yeah.
You know, I suspect that the reporter probably realises, but it'd be nice if he didn't. You know what I mean? It's like naively just quoting him verbatim, and he's put all these stuff about things being hard to swallow and long and hard and stuff like that.
Well, we're going back to Mrs. Slocum's pussy, aren't we? In terms of the innuendo. It's all nice, good 70s fun, so it's all fine there. It's all good.
Anyway, that's my second and last story this week. What's your next one?
Greg, can you believe that it was episode 20 of the Culture Swally. This will be episode 80 of the Culture Swally. And it was episode 20 that we covered Sunshine on Leith, which doesn't seem that long ago. No. And of course, Sunshine on Leith is famously a musical based on the music of the Proclaimers. So, this is from the Scottish Sun this week. Tartan Army chiefs are calling for the Proclaimers to write an official song if Scotland qualify for next summer's Euros. Now, I think it's like a 98.8% chance that we will qualify for the Euros because we've got off to such a good start. So we have to say, I think it is achievable. They say that the Twins could even adapt their I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles anthem for the tournament in Germany. The last official Scottish football song, which we covered, Greg, in our Euro 2020 special, which was episode 24 of the podcast, which we did a shot at glory, available wherever your podcast, was Delamitri's Don't Come Home Too Soon. That was the last official Scottish football song,
1998,
which was written for the 1998 World Cup in France. But Hamish Husband, what a fucking great name, Hamish Husband of the Tartan Army Association, said, that could be a drag act actually, Hamish Husband, said, with the prospect of us getting to Germany, we need a new anthem. So it's now over to the Proclaimers. Of course, who else would you go over to? The players have shown such camaraderie. I went all Sean Connery there. The players have shown such camaraderie. I'm sure they'd be up for it. The Proclaimers could prepare to write an anthem that take us forward to Germany. It'd be wonderful for the nation and for the Reed brothers. They could even tweak their massive hit, said Hamish. He added, the distance between here and Germany is more than 500 miles. Thanks, Hamish. Scotland's doomed 1978 World Cup campaign in Argentina featured Ali's Tartan Army, sung by Andy Cameron, which we, of course, covered on that episode as well. And it sold 360,000 copies. Fans adopted Baccarat's Yes Sir I Can Boogie when Scotland qualified for Euro 2020, our first major tournament since 1998. Music expert and DJ Jim Gallantly, who I think we've mentioned on the podcast before, said unofficial songs are normally the ones that catch on. He said the songs that Scotland fans adopt are probably the anthems. He added, if you want an actual superstar, Calvin Harris has to top the list. This is an official song, so Calvin Harris isn't going to go out of his way to do an unofficial song. In terms of big stars in Scotland, the obvious one is Lewis Capaldi, but his songs are a bit too down. But imagine Calvin Harris collaborating with Capaldi for the Euros. That'd be good. Not our words, the words of Jim Gillan. So, if we were to have an anthem for Euro 2024, Greg, who would you pick? And you can't say the Crankies, because I know that's what you're going to say.
I was going to say the Crankies. I think it needs to be a band like the Proclaimers, because the Proclaimers songs they're so singable. You know what I mean? They're so they've got so many sort of anthemic songs. So you would need someone like that, I think. I don't know if I would get excited about a Capaldi Calvin collab. I'm not a fan of either of those guys, really. Not my cup of tea. Who could it be? Maybe the Fratellis. Maybe they could get them to do a song.
Are they still on the go? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. They've got some catchy songs. Who else? What other maybe get Royals. They're Scottish, aren't they?
You may say Las Vegas or something.
Las Vegas, yeah. Camera Obscura. They could, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Camera Obscura is not a bad shout, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably more down the Delamitri route kind of thing. You're looking for someone that's going to get the crowd uprising. You're right, there's no one better than the Proclaimers. Yeah. I mean, unless you get the Bay City Rollers back together, which obviously isn't going to happen.
Most of them are dead, so
you're left. Or you get Rod Stewart to do, Rod Stewart and the Proclaimers or something. That would get everyone going.
Yeah.
But it has to be a really good song, and you can't just redo 500 Miles. I mean, it's too...
I want something original.
Synonymous with other things. You want something a bit original, someone that's going to get the heart pounding and chest beating. And you want something original. But yeah, fucking Calvin Harris and Lewis Capaldi. Don't get me wrong, I really like Lewis Capaldi. I could name one of his songs and that's it. And I genuinely probably only heard it a couple of times. I couldn't name anything else he's done, but I like him as a person. Like, I think he's very funny and very likable, but I've no opinion on his music because I haven't really heard any of it. Calvin Harris, I remember seeing him in Austria went to a snowboarding festival and he was playing there, and me and my friend stood at the front of the stage, and this was before he had his glow up and he was just the kind of spotty teenager, Calvin Harris, and we just we're a bit cruel, I guess, because we just stood at the front of the stage and just fucking pointed at him and booed and said he was shit. Like, what are you gonna say? And he was like, literally, like, I could have reached out and touched him, and I was just like, we were just boo, you're shite. And such a shame. Yeah. Like, why did we do that?
I mean,
I don't know.
I think he's definitely had the last laugh anyway.
I think he did, yeah. I mean, he got a glow up and he got to fucking knock off Taylor Swift for a good few years. So yeah,
did you not go and ask him if he would play Let's Get Ready to Rumble by PJ and Duncan?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't give him a hug either. No. Anyway, so we will see if we do have an anthem for 2024 in Germany, and we'll see who it is. Maybe there'll be somebody new that comes out. Maybe it'll be the View or something, or
whatever happens to them,
or Deacon Blue.
Do you know the View there was a story actually a few weeks ago about the View having a fight on stage just a couple of weeks ago. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Like an actual fist fight.
Yeah.
Deacon Blue would be a good shout to do a song, actually. Yeah, you mentioned that. Doogie could do his sports commentating and then get on the drums. You know what I mean? Get paid twice.
I'm behind that. Get Deacon Blue to do Scotland's song. I'd be behind that, actually. Well, it's a good show.
I'm going to tweet Ricky Ross after the podcast.
You do that then. You tweet Ricky Ross and see what he says. He'll probably tell you to fuck off. Okay. Have you seen anything else in the news this week, Rick?
No, that's it.
No? Do you want a quick round of the Purple Tin Game?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah? Purple Tin Game? Okay, Purple Tin Game, for anyone who is a new listener or doesn't know, this is born from ridiculous stories in Scottish newspapers of celebrities being photographed in cafes or bars, or it basically comes from Gerard Butler and Darius Dinesh, R.I.P., being photographed in a hairdresser in Glasgow. And it's just ridiculous that these things make the newspapers. However, Greg has 9 questions to guess the celebrity. The reason he has 9 questions is because a can of Tennant Super is 9%, so it's the purple tin game. So, Greg, this is a fucking tough one.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, this is tough. I think you'll struggle. So I'm going to give you a clue on the get-go. They're not Scottish, okay?
Great.
So this celebrity
narrows it down.
has been spotted enjoying a coffee on a visit to the Isle of Bute. And there's a photograph of the celebrity with staff member Amanda from Pine with Isle of Bute Coffee Company. Can you tell me who this celebrity is?
Okay, is the celebrity an actor?
Yes.
Is the celebrity a Hollywood actor?
Yes.
Okay. Is the celebrity famous for enjoying golf?
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
Is that 3 questions?
Yeah.
Is the celebrity a man?
Yes.
Right. Is he currently promoting a movie?
No, I don't think so. Actually, no, I don't think so. Maybe filming a movie, but not promoting, I think. No, because it's not Ryan Gosling.
Well, is the celebrity American? Did I ask that already? No.
You've asked if he's a Hollywood actor, so I think that kind of gives. I'm not going to take that as a question. Okay. I'm gonna say yes.
American
yes,
actor.
but I'm not going to take that as a question.
American actor in Scotland.
You got 4 questions left, so I'll give you a hint like after every one. From now on, I think. So
Hollywood actor in Scotland having coffee in Isle of Bute. Is he an older fellow?
He's 42, so
no.
I'd say no, because
you're 42.
That's my age, so I'd say no. So no. I'll give you a clue. Okay. We haven't covered him on the Swally before, but we could. He is in a film that we could cover him on the Swally.
I know who it is. It's Chris Pine.
It's Chris Pine, yes. Chris Pine was photographed in the Isle of Bute Coffee Company. He was ironically, this is in the National this week, and now Chris Pine is a big star, and he's been in some big films. And what did they lead with? The Princess Diaries 2 star was a visit. Chris Pine's got to be like, I've played Captain Kirk and Robert the Bruce. And they've gone with the Princess Diaries 2 star was photographed at a cafe with friends. So yeah, he's at the Isle of Bute. So yeah.
I know that.
There we go. Well done.
I did see another article. The reason that the answer came to me quickly when you gave me that hint was because there was another story of him arriving at Glasgow Airport, and it said that it's understood that he's here for a vacation because apparently he enjoyed his time in Scotland when they were filming The Outlaw King. His Scottish accent's not bad. We'll have to do The Outlaw King in a few episodes' time, I think.
Yeah, it's crossed my mind a few times, and that was going to be my next hint of it's a film that wouldn't be in my wheelhouse, but ironically, because I was going to say he plays a famous Scotsman, but we've covered 2 films on the Swally of a similar nature that have non-Scotsmen playing famous Scotsmen. And it's not a film I would normally pick. The Outlaw King, my kind of taste. But yeah, I picked Rob Roy, and I think, obviously Braveheart was a given. But yeah, that was going to be my next kind of clue. Never mind. Well, you got Chris Pine. Congratulations.
So I'm 3 for 3.
You are. Yeah. You do well in the Purple Tin game. I'm quite impressed. You really do well. I'm going to have to try and sock you next time. Try and give you a hard one. That's not. That's kind of the thing that the inflatable willies writer would write. Right. Before we go on to what we're going to be talking about today, let's have a little word from our sponsors. Doric Skateboards is a skateboard brand created by Gary Kemp, whose main focus is to explore the people and culture of Aberdeen and the northeast of Scotland to create designs that reflect life in that area. Doric Skateboards screen print their own decks in their studio by Gary's fair hand, and they have produced some amazing designs over the years, including an Annie Lennox inspired board, a Robert the Bruce deck, There we go, Chris Pine kind of linked in there. And plenty of pop deck inspired by the old Bonaccord trucks that used to drive around Aberdeen delivering fizzy drinks. And a recent Northfield Tower design as well. Dorrit Skateboards also replicate these amazing designs onto their clothing on 100% organic cotton t-shirts, hoodies and sweatshirts, and you can also fill your boots on stickers, pin badges and beanies. Gary regularly collaborates with local artists to ensure that he brings the latest designs to the market, but always with a Doric twist. So check out Dorrit Skateboards for yourself on dorritskateboards.com and follow them on Instagram at Dorrit Skateboards to see the amazing designs they have on offer. And you will find all the links on our social media in our link tree on our Instagram. And we are delighted to be able to offer you 15% off as listeners to this podcast. All you need to do is head to dorritskateboards.com, have a look at the amazing decks, stickers, badges, hoodies and tees that they have on offer, and enter the promo code SWALLY. That's SWALLY, same with the name of this podcast, all in block capitals, and get your 15% off. That's dorritskateboards.com. Use the code SWALLY.
I'm just tweeting Ricky Ross.
Okay, I have to retweet that from the Swally account.
I've tweeted him from the Swally account.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, even better.
Yeah. So, last week I chose the George Mackay starring movie For Those in Peril, which means it's come round to you again. What we're talking about on this episode of the Culture Swally?
Well, today, Greg, we're going to be talking about the 2001 film Late Night Shopping. Set in Glasgow, although you wouldn't really know it, and basically with a full English cast, Late Night Shopping is a quirky comedy about a group of 20-something-year-old graveyard shift workers in various dead-end jobs who meet up in a cafe to kill time and share a little something of their lives in what they presume will be a grey area between friendship and being acquaintances. So we are going to join Vince, a serial one-night stand merchant, Sean, a guy too scared to check if he still lives with his girlfriend, Lenny, a bloke with porno reactions, and Jody, a girl who has long since lost any daytime friends. Starring James Lance, Kate Ashfield, Luc de Woolfson and Enzo Cilenti, directed by Saul Mestienne and written by Jack Lothian. I remember renting this from Blockbuster in about 2002, I think, just after it came out. And then later I worked at Blockbuster and I always remember just seeing this DVD case. And I think I rented it a few times when I worked there. I really enjoyed this film when I first saw it. I have not seen it in about 20 years. And when I first mentioned this to you, Greg, you said you'd never even heard of it. So was this your first viewing of Late Night Shopping? Yeah. Complete first viewing. Yeah. Okay, so what did you think of Late Night Shopping?
It really took me back to that time, I think.
Yeah.
It really made me, like just the sort of styles, what people are wearing, and just the sort of concept of the movie. I think the British film industry was going through quite a purple patch in the sort of late 90s and early 2000s, and
purple tin patch,
yeah. And I obviously this one wasn't as successful as the likes of like a Trainspotting or a Notting Hill or whatever, but I enjoyed it. At first it did take me a little while to pull me in, if I'm being honest, because it's the pace, like the beginning of the film, it's a little bit slow, I guess, while they sort of establish these four characters, but the second half of the film is great. It really gets going sort of halfway through.
Yeah, it does take a while, I think, before you establish, I'd say maybe the first half hour, before you actually really get into the characters and you get to know them. And then once you realise their kind of quirks and the way they are, then you're right, it does kind of trundle on. This is, as you mentioned, this is such a 2001 kind of British film. Like, it's dripping in that era. And watching it again, I was like, oh, just take me back.
Yeah.
I want to go back. And it's a film that I think absolutely knows its target audience. Like, it's made by at the time, the people that directed and wrote it were kind of that age group. It's starring that age group. It's, I kind of speak primarily for us that those were kind of in our late teens, early 20s at that time.
Glory days.
And
those were glory days.
The glory days. Denim J-skit. Glory days. And it just kind of, it's just sums up that era, kind of people working in jobs that, not dead-end jobs, but you know what I mean? They're stuck in crappy jobs just to pay the bills, just doing stuff monotonous. As Vince says, I want to have like a job that I just zone out and don't have to do anything, think about stuff. And that's what we kind of did back then. And, it's a great premise, really. Like, what goes on in the lives of people that work night shift? What do they do? Like, we never really get to see them during the day, but it's quite an interesting concept in a way. And it's four really good characters working different jobs, but all relatable in a way as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, Kate Ashfield, her hair in this is just it's total sort of that kind of late 90s, early 2000s sort of casual ladies fashions that were about, the sort of t-shirts, and her hair's all it's long but sort of choppy and spiky and everything. And but yeah, to your point, I mean, my dad used to work night shift sometimes when he worked at Lennox Castle on the switchboard, but he never he never slept all day. You know what I mean? I think he, to be honest, I think he slept at his work. That's why. I don't think he was awake the whole night answering phones. But it's something that I've never done. I've never had a night shift job where I've worked. I've started like late in the evening and finished in the morning. I imagine that it's jet lag I struggle with anyway, so it must be difficult to to like adjust when you come off night shift to a day shift or whatever. But I mean, it's so weird, like, because the jobs that they have, so Vincent works as a overnight shelf stacker in a supermarket. Sean is a porter in a hospital. Jody seems to work on a sort of assembly line making circuit boards, and Lenny works in a call centre. So they're all quite sort of disparate jobs, but the job that Vincent has, I don't think necessarily suits the character of Vincent. I know why he says why he wants a job when he's having the conversation with Joe in the break room, and he's like, I took this job, so I don't want to think about stuff. But and also what's his name, Sean? Oh, Ricky Ross has replied. Sorry, to our tweet. Ricky Ross says, lots of games to play yet. Oh, come on. I'll tweet him back later. Yeah, so Lenny kind of looks like he could work in a call centre. It kind of looks like he belongs in a call centre job. But the other three, I don't think their jobs suit them all that much. You would never meet a girl like Kate Ashfield and imagine that she works on an assembly line. And you would never think, Sean is sort of dressed a bit like, he's dressed a bit like sort of Tim Burgess. Do you know what I mean? From the Charlatans. He's got the same hair, same sort of long hair and stuff. And yet he works as a porter over in a hospital. It's kind of, I don't know. It didn't really seem like those are the types of jobs that those guys would do.
So would you imagine their jobs would be then?
If they're doing night shift jobs or just any jobs?
Well, night shift jobs. I mean, that's the whole premise of the film. What would you imagine their jobs would be if you don't think they're suited to those jobs?
I'm not sure. I mean, like, Sean looks like he could be a bartender, you know what I mean? But that's not going to be overnight. But I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I mean, as Vince beautifully puts it, while we stand around here putting fucking tins on shelves, there are beautiful 19-year-old girls in short skirts and tight tops going to clubs. Yeah. And then when their standards plummet is the same hour that I got off work. And that's why... That's why he's so successful with the ladies. It's not just down to Errol Flynn's watch that he has. It's down to the timing of things. So as you've said, these four workers, they have these night jobs and they effectively meet in this cafe and sit and drink coffee and milkshakes and chat during the evening. Wonderful cafe. I mean, a lot of cigar smoking going on in that cafe. The guy that works there is chomping on a big cigar as he's...
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody is smoking all the time. Like, even the scene when Vincent goes to the hospital with poor old Joe, who's had a heart attack, and he's just like walking through the corridors of the hospital behind the paramedics, pushing poor old Joe in the trolley, like smoking a fag. And I think the cafe on the island at the seaside as well, the guy behind the counter who pours the coke for Sean's girlfriend is smoking it's got a fucking fag in his mouth. Everybody's fucking like Vincent practically chain smokes his way through every scene. James Van's practically chain smokes through every scene that he's in. It may be quite nostalgic for just when you could smoke indoors in the UK. And I mean, obviously I don't smoke anymore, but I don't oppose anybody's right to smoke. I do sometimes occasionally smoke. I had a couple of cigarettes last night, so I'm sitting here saying that I don't smoke anymore. But I'm not like a regular smoker. But I was back then. And you could just I remember you could smoke in the Bonaccord Centre and in Aberdeen at one point. When you kind of walking through the St Nicholas Centre with a fucking fag in your mouth and your shopping bags. But yeah, it may be really nostalgic for better times. But that cafe, I think it might be, I could be wrong here, I did try to look it up and find where is that. I tried to find out where what the cafe was, and also where they go at the end of the film at the seaside, try and find out where it was. But I thought it might be the famous University Cafe on Byers Road, because it's got a real retro look to it. But I don't think University Cafe's has ever had like arcade machines and pool tables at the back.
I'm not sure about the main cafe they go to, but the one they go to at the end is the Melbourne Cafe in Saltcoats.
Oh, so all right, so Saltcoats. How'd you
quite
okay.
Yeah.
So that's where.
How did I know?
Yeah, how'd you find that out?
Yeah, Google.
I wasn't sure if it was Saltcoats or Ayr, because I'm not that familiar with either. But anyway.
But yeah, this film, I mean, it's right up my street, as you would have expected of my kind of film watching and my film love. Like, it's just so unforced, and it kind of trundles along. Nothing really happens, but obviously, things do happen. But it's a low budget film about kind of slackers and navigating life, and that's always has a special place in my heart. Films like Clerks or Mallrats or this, or one of my favourite films of all time is Swingers. And kind of Vince Vaughn's character Trent in Swingers kind of reminds me a little bit of Vince in this, in terms of the way he like crushes up the number and throws it in a milkshake and stuff. And like I say, it's such a short film, and it does take a while to get with the characters, but once you do, it's kind of really worth it. And I think, probably speaking about the characters, I mean, let's start with James Lance as Vince. I mean, James Lance, we've had on the podcast, well, we haven't had him on the podcast, but we've had him in the Big Group, series 1 and 2 as Barney. And then, I mean, I know him as Ben from I'm Alan Partridge, and that's what he'll always kind of be to me. And of course, now he's probably most famous for being Trent Krim in Ted Lasso, and he's fantastic in that role as well. And James Lance is a great actor, and he's great in this as well, as just this kind of, he's a likable dick. Like, he's a dick, but you can't help but kind of like him, and he's kind of got his heart's in the right place, but it isn't. I mean, he does obviously a very bad thing in terms of shagging Sean's girlfriend, and he knows it's Sean's girlfriend before he shags her, but we've all been there. Once you get to that point, you're kind of like, well, fuck it, there's no way back. But he's a likable dick, but he's an okay, good guy.
He's sort of brutally honest about who he is as well. You know what I mean? Like, for the other characters, he's not, he's not like, there's no sort of deviousness about him at all. He's very open. He's just out to try and get his hole as often as he can. Yeah.
And that's exactly what his kind of modus operandi is. And that's what he wants to do. And he does believe that his shagging power comes from this watch that he has that belonged to Errol Flynn. And he's very clear in terms of, we see the one scene when he, in the morning, when he's with this girl and she's upset that he's effectively said it's over. And he's, look, I told you, it's 3 times and that's it. And she kind of comes and then he asks her if she wants to watch the Home Shopping channel, which is fantastic. The power of Errol Flynn's watch. Is there anything you would like to have from a cellbrity that you kind of think you would possess with power?
Imbued with power.
Doogie Vipon's drumstick?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Or what's the guy from I forget the actor's name, but the guy from God Help the Girl. I like that purple Harrington that he was wearing. Well, not purple, that sort of burgundy Harrington that he was wearing. Quite nice.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would give me it would maybe give me some songwriting power, perhaps. I used to really like the Pringle jumper that Robert Carlyle wears as Begbie in one of the early scenes of Trainspotting. I think the scene in the pool hall, he's wearing a sort of a kind of powder blue V-neck Pringle jumper. But that might I don't know. That might make me do it might imbue me with rage. What about you?
Fair enough.
What about you?
No, nothing that I can think of offhand. I mean, yeah, Errol Flynn's watch would be pretty good,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe one of Begbie's jumpers
What about,
would be quite good as well.
Mavericks Ray-Bans on Top Gun.
Yeah, but you can have that kind of, any time, really. I mean, it depends if you're wanting to go ridiculousness or, I'll take the Batmobile, if you're asking about be a bugger apart.
I was going to say.
But,
Yeah.
Never mind. So yes, James Lance as Vince, a fantastic kind of character in terms of just a serial shagger. I think the next, and it's kind of maybe, it's not so much the main character, but it kind of does revolve around him a lot, is the character of Sean, who is played by Luke de Woolfson, who never really seen in anything else much. He plays Sean, who is a hospital porter. He isn't sure if his girlfriend still lives with him or still loves him, because he hasn't seen her for 3 weeks, because she works days, he works nights, and he ends up shagging a coma victim's girlfriend, Susie, in the hospital, which kind of leads to the last part of the film, of him having to go and try and find his girlfriend Madeline. Yeah, decent performance. I see what you mean when you say that he kind of looks like he could be a barman or something. Interesting character. I mean, he obviously uses the Fonz technique to get vending machines, to give him Kit Kats and stuff, but he doesn't really seem like he wants to go back to Madeline until, in fair play, when Jody does say, okay, so one of two things happened, and the second thing is you've had your dick in someone else, and it's kind of made you realise what you're missing, and that's the realisation that he does have to go back and see Madeline.
Yeah, I think you're right. He does seem like the lead character. Like, we do spend a bit of time with the three guys. We don't really spend much time with Kate Ashfield apart from when she's in the cafe. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I quite liked him in this. I do like the character of Sean. He's a sort of likable guy. I think the whole I'm not sure if my girlfriend still lives with me or not sort of plot device is fucking genius. It's really, really, really good. I thought that was a really, really, really funny conceit. But you would think that, he would just maybe go turn up late for work and catch her. Where it maybe doesn't work so much is, I assume that he starts work at like 10 o'clock at night or something. So does she work like until that time, until 9 o'clock at night or something? Like that seemed a bit weird, but it's still it was good. It was funny. Like, that whole thing was really funny. And he's like sleeping with a bar of soap in his hand, and he's carrying a bar of soap around. What was it? Vincent says to him, "If that's a bar of soap, there's going to be trouble." Or something like that.
So Jody tells Sean to paint on the wall, "Do you still live here?" And he's like, "No, just decorated." But then when he comes home, and after Vince has slept with Madeline, we see written on the wall, "Do you still love me?" painted on the wall. Now, it's never clear, did Madeline write that or did Sean write that looking for a response? But I presume it's meant to be Madeline.
That's what I thought.
Did that. Yeah. Okay. That's clear then. Okay. Because it was the same handwriting as "Do you still love me?" Or "Do you still live here?" Was that. But I just wanted to check that, that was kind of our thinking.
But that was weeks ago.
It started out as I was just avoiding her. That turned into habit, and now, well, I'm just getting this feeling that...
Sean, you want a simple solution. Hardware store. Big pot of paint, paintbrush. You go home, you paint on the bedroom wall in big fuck-off letters, "Do you still live here?" You come home from work one day and she's standing there throwing a hissy fit about the state of the wallpaper. Then I think you've got your answer.
No, I don't know, we just redecorated.
Sure.
Okay, look, listen, what if I was to do that, and what if it turns out that it is all over between us? That's what I'm really scared of.
That sounds like... What's that guy thing called?
The fear?
Yeah, the fear.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, likeable character, Sean. I mean, obviously he sleeps with Susie over her boyfriend's, not corpse, but coma, kind of driven victim. A little bit off there, but, you know, he's having a difficult time and issues with his girlfriend, so it's understandable, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, he's when he realizes that she's actually a bit of a shagger when she sees him, when he sees her chatting up his colleague, and her boyfriend's just come out of his coma, and he kind of walks past them as she's using her patter on this other guy, and he says, "Your boyfriend's awake." So he wanders past. Yeah.
And then we have Lenny, who works in directory inquiries, is kind of obsessed-ish with a girl that also works in directory inquiries, Gail, played by Shona MacDonald, probably the only Scottish person really in this film. And he has the most amazing car that I'd be quite happy if my car was stuck on 80s power ballad music. Because you have I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner, Kayleigh by Marillion, China in Your Hands by T'Pau, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You by Heart, Died in Your Arms Tonight by Cutting Crew, and These Dreams by Heart. Now, I know whenever I played Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I used to always go to the 80s power ballad station, and this is what this car basically is. And this would be a dream to me, to have it just stuck on 80s power ballads. Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's also like quite a nice old Mercedes that he's driving around in. You know, like for a call centre wages, it's nice wheels.
Well, I think he made a lot of his money when he was writing for Men Only.
That's right.
And writing. And that's why he has his porno reactions. Because he wrote articles for a gentleman's magazine. Now, I like the fact they mention Men Only in the film, and when they later see when they're at the garage and Vince picks up a copy of Men Only and says, "Hey, is this the one you wrote for?" What was your jazz mag of choice back in the day, Greg?
I never bought very many, if I'm honest, over the years. I couldn't really tell you what they were called either. I remember.
Oh, you fucking
no,
liar.
honestly, I remember I would sometimes buy Playboy if it was like a famous celebrity or actress that was doing the sort of the feature. I remember I had the Drew Barrymore one, and I also had, who was another one? I can't remember who it was, but I bought the 50th anniversary issue of Playboy because I thought this will be a collector's item one day, and I'm pretty sure it's still in my loft, and I'll find out when I go home in a couple of weeks because all my books are up there. But yeah, it had like all the people that have posed in Playboy over those 50 years. So people like Jane Mansfield and Marilyn Monroe, and all the way up to like Pamela Anderson and Farrah Fawcett and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, I was a bit of a
good.
Yeah, I was a bit more sophisticated than just buying a copy of Escort or something like that. You know?
Before I worked in the call centre, I had a job for 2-3 years, writing for Men Only.
Writing for what?
You know, Men Only, the jazz mag.
Yeah, I'm well aware what Men Only is. You wrote for it?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck me.
Well, you know the kind of thing. Dear Men Only, I never thought I'd write to a magazine such as yours, but something happened to me last week I just had to share with you. I'm an attractive blonde, aged 19, small but perfectly formed, with a bust size that can only be described as a handful. I work in the local hairdressing salon and often flirt with the customers, but none really caught my eye until I saw Peter, a regular who'd just returned from work abroad. Well, with his rippling muscles, suntan and sexy smile, I could hardly resist when he continued page 64, etc., etc., etc. I spent so long writing that shit that now I've got porno reactions to everything.
And how do these porno reactions manifest themselves?
It's not funny.
So Lenny works call center. He's kind of obsessed with Gail, and he's calling her up saying that he is this international businessman because he's scared to talk to her because he has these porno reactions. Because he wrote for Men Only, he kind of envisages everything that he does as a porn film or a sexy scenario. That'd be a crippling illness to have that, though.
I mean, that's pretty much how I looked at everything from the ages of about 17 until I got married, I think.
And it's such a shame because he's such a genuine nice guy, and he's so matter of fact. Towards the end, he's gets on well with Gail. They're chatting, and he asks her out, and she turns him down, and he's like, but it's fine because it's okay because he didn't have porno reactions with her. But then she's the only one that is able to change the station on his car radio. So do you think that it was destined they were going to be together?
Yeah, I think so. I would like to think that they got it together eventually. That he wore her down.
He wore her down. This porno reactions. And then I guess the last main character we have is Kate Ashfield as Jody. And Kate Ashfield, probably most famously Liz in Shaun of the Dead. It was quite disconcerting to see her say Shaun all the time in this film when she's speaking to Shaun, because it's just from Shaun of the Dead. You're just thinking, when she's saying that, my God, she's lovely. She's lovely in this. Yeah, she's just, 2001 Nikki would have been, if I'd had Errol Flynn's watch, I would have been trying to romance Jodie so much. Such a great character as well, but she's the only female, but she's a great character. She's so feisty and just kind of like doesn't give bullshit, and she tells it like it is, and she's trying to help Shaun with his problems. She's trying to help Lenny. Obviously Vince and her are a little bit funny, but she's a great character, really. But she's the one we know least about. Like, we have no idea what her home life is or what her background is or anything.
I think we only see her outside of the cafe before they all go to the seaside. Like twice, like once at her work and once in bed of her sort of kind of waking up in the morning. We don't spend any time with her otherwise, which is kind of weird. You'd like to have, like she's a good foil for sort of sorting out these three insecure guys. You know what I mean? And with all their shit and stuff. But you don't really get the chance to get to know her outside of that group dynamic.
But I mean, she's very insecure herself because she smiles at that guy who is reading like Lord of the Rings or something and then looks away, and I'm like, are you joking, mate? Really? If a girl that looks like that is smiling at you, you're going to be smiling back.
Yeah, for sure.
And 100%. And she asked Lenny if he thinks that she's attractive, and Lenny's a little bit flustered. And of course, I mean, it is quite an awkward conversation, but he's like, she effectively asks him, have you ever wanked over me? And I do love the euphemism she gives, fun for one, a personal touch, or a one-man band, which are all great. I think my favourite of all time has come from the League of Gentlemen, which is shaking hands with the governor of love, which is one of my favourite euphemisms for having a wank. But, she's effectively asking her friend, like, have you ever had a wank over me? Do you ever... I think she says, like, would you think of a girl like me when you're having fun for one?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I definitely did back in the early 2000s after seeing her in Shaun of the Dead and Space. But I mean, that has to be. I think I would just like. I just want the ground to open up and swallow me if a girl ever asked me that. Especially then, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially if I had.
All right. You're alone in your room and you want to have, fun for one.
What? Oh, shit.
A personal touch. A one-man band.
I don't believe you're asking me about this.
Grow up, Lenny. Listen, would you ever consider doing it about a girl? For example, like me?
Jody...
Just answer the question.
No. Well, I mean, probably not.
Why not?
Look, Jody, please.
Lenny?
Look, I don't know. You're a friend. It'd be rude, and you're not my type.
Not your type? What's wrong with me?
That's it.
I mean, it's not the kind of question you ask, but I guess that, it's a fair enough question, I suppose. We're going to kind of come on to it later, but there's only one... Most of this is spent in cafes, or there's literally one bar scene, and we only see one person drinking a beer, and it's Vince. Yeah. And he drinks a bottle of Miller Genuine Draft. Jesus Christ. Why was that so popular at the time? Like, it was always disgusting. Do you still get Miller Genuine Draft?
I mean, I don't see it around. I remember, like, the first pub I worked in, the two lagers we had were McEwen's lager and Miller. But I think Miller were really promoting around about that time, because remember there used to be that sort of extended advert from Miller that used to be on sometimes. It was like a sort of American talk showy type advert.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell actually. Yeah, you're right.
So I think they were pushing it really hard. But I mean, it was fucking North American beers just do not agree with me. I mean, even last night, like, I had a few bottles of Sol, which I know is not North American, but and I felt like I felt like shit this morning, even though I didn't have many. But yeah, like things like Budweiser, Miller, Coors Light, Michelob, all of them, they all taste the same, and they're all fucking disgusting. Like, I just like ruled out a few sponsors there, but yeah, I don't know how people drink them. They're just fucking rank.
I have written in my notes, Finlay Quaye, discuss.
Whatever happened to Finlay? Whatever happened to him?
Exactly.
So I came away.
He should maybe tweet him, see if he wants to do Scotland's anthem for Euro 2024. Whatever happened to Finlay Quaye? It was massive at the time, wasn't it? Maverick with a Strike, his album, and it was everywhere. Are you actually tweeting Finlay Quaye right now?
No, I'm just, but I am looking him up to see what he's up to.
But yeah, what happened to him? But yeah, his song is played twice in this film. They must have spent a fortune on the music budget.
Yeah, for
this
sure. A lot of big songs in it.
You know, purely speaking about the 80s power ballads, but obviously Finlay Quaye twice. It's kind of briefly played at the opening, and then it's the kind of the end song as they're going through the tunnel. So it's good old Finlay Quaye. Whatever happened to him?
His Wikipedia says that in 2012 he was charged with aggravated assault in Edinburgh.
That's 11 years ago.
Yep, and then in November of the same year he was declared bankrupt. He owed the taxman £400,000. He was arrested for possession of cannabis in 2003. In 2015, he was forced off stage mid-performance by the owner of a music club in Gloucester, who criticised him for lacking professionalism. So I think he's maybe fucked it.
Okay,
basically.
well, fair enough. That's what happened to Finlay Quaye then, I guess.
But I mean, that's one of the most bizarre things about this film. So you've got a Scottish musician doing putting probably his most popular song on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's filmed in Glasgow. They don't. They neither try to disguise that nor draw attention to it either.
I think the only thing you really see is and it's in one of the opening scenes, is when Sean is walking down the road and this Glasgow City Council street sweeper walks by him. That's the only thing you would know that it was set in Glasgow.
Yeah, unless you were familiar with Glasgow, you would recognise like some of the locations. Like when they're in, like the scenes in the car, they're driving through the merchant city. You can see the Glasgow, the Goma in the background, the modern art gallery, and Exchange Square and stuff. But yeah, it's strange. I mean, I wonder what. I mean, I guess because it's sort of Scottish production, but then, and why not have a Scottish cast?
I don't understand that either. Why it's such an English cast, apart from Heike Makash, which German actress who I asked my wife about because obviously she's German, and I sent her the IMDb photo because she was away yesterday, so I sent her the photo, and she's like, "Oh no, she's a very famous German actress. She was kind of like a not MTV, but kind of like a Bravo music channel. Right. She was like kind of one of the hosts of that, and then she went into acting, and she's very famous in Germany. And my wife's like, no, she's brilliant. I really like her. I was like, watching a film with her from 2001. She's great as Sean's girlfriend, Madeline. But yeah, why was the need? The only Scottish person apart from Joe, who dies in the supermarket, really is
Shauna.
Is Gail, Shauna MacDonald, like the only Scottish person, and I don't quite understand what the reasoning for that was to have that.
I'm not sure. I mean, it would just be speculation. The interesting thing about Heike is that her dad was an Olympic ice hockey player.
Yes, I had read about
He's got his own Wikipedia page as well. Yeah, I had to be look at her IMDb. I think the biggest film she's done was Resident Evil, right, the first one with Mila Djokovic.
I think Love Actually probably beats that.
Probably. Yeah. But she's got some albums out and stuff as well. Like, she must do a bit of singing. But then her second name, like the character's second name, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but they've gone to the trouble of giving... She's the only character with a second name in the film.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's Zozo Kolovic. Madeline Zozo Kolovic, which is a mouthful.
Well, I mean, there you go. She is the only character in the film with a surname, but Jodie does say at one point when she's saying that we're not friends, we're acquaintances, she gives 3 questions. What's my surname? Which obviously you would know. Where do I work? Which obviously you would know. But then the one thing I don't know if we would know about each other, Greg, is what's our favourite colour? Which is a very not really manly thing to ask, I would suggest, really. Yeah. But it struck me that I don't know what your favourite colour is. What's your favourite colour?
Would you be shocked to hear that I don't really have a favourite colour? I have colours that I like and colours that I don't like. So yeah, I'm not really a favourite colour kind of person. I suppose I used to favour blue when I was younger. So I suppose it was
Duncan or Anthony or Simon.
Yeah, all of them. And like a little drive by.
Have you seen totally off the cuff, Lemmy watching Blue on his Twitch?
Yeah,
he watches. So. If you see that he watches the performance of Blue, and like Lee's voice is all, and Lemmy's like, he's been on the fags and the coke. Like, you fucking need to get off that. You can't. Like,
yeah, I think he tweeted it. I think I did see that. There is another Scottish actor in this. There's the girl that Vincent breaks up with, Leslie Harcourt. Although she sounds English, she was actually born and bred in Glasgow, but she was sort of brought up from the age of 7 in Yorkshire. But she did her acting training in Glasgow. She came back to do her acting training. She's, so there's three Scottish people. Laurie Gentry plays Jo, Shauna MacDonald and Leslie Harcourt.
And I mean, this is effectively, as Jodie kind of alludes to towards the end of the film, it's kind of like a Wizard of Oz type kind of film. Yeah. Like, as she says, like, you're here to save a relationship and you brought along a sociopathic serial dater, a guy with porno reactions, a Miss Know-It-All who pretends she has a job so she doesn't have to share into the black abyss that is her life. You may as well have brought the Tin Man, the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Liar for all the help that we are. It's very much like they've gone on this journey to kind of, save themselves or for what reason, but they all end up on this journey effectively to Saltcoats to find Sean's girlfriend on this crazy golf course.
Yeah, and it's the best. I think it's the best part of the film is when they're on the roads. I mean, when Jodie hassles them to put the radio on and then just turns it on, and then she ends up sort of like hanging out the sunroof with her sunglasses on and her fingers in her ears because the music's doing her head in. Like, all that sequence, I feel the film really kind of picks up, and like that the sort of shot that they use for the sort of thumbnail for the film on YouTube of the 4 of them standing on the beach with their sunglasses on. It's it's great. That whole, I mean, what is a bit weird is, of all the services they could have filmed that sequence where they're supposed to have stopped off. Those services are in Lancaster. I know them. I know them incredibly well because I must have driven past them about 100 times or more, and stopped at them quite a few times as well. Well, there's loads of services you could have stopped at in Scotland. But anyway, maybe they were on their way back to England and just filmed that scene on the way home. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. It did kind of, Lenny's car did remind me, and I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, of when I went to V99 Festival with a mutual friend of ours, not our mutual friend, but another mutual friend, Stuart. Yeah. And we stole his brother's car to drive down from Aberdeen to Staffordshire, which was a fair journey.
That's a long
and
drive.
It was a Vauxhall Nova, and on the way back, the car was fucked.
Right.
Like, it was Like I think it got wrote off not long after. But on the way down, the tape deck got stuck and we couldn't get the tape out. So we literally had one tape on loop and it was Smooth by Santana. And I'd say after about the 8th listen, we were just like, oh my fucking God. I seem to remember one of us kicking the tape deck, like fucking booting the fuck out of it, trying to get the tape out. And it just wasn't working. Yeah. Great song at the time for the first couple of listens, but not so much once you've listened to it so long. So I can kind of understand. But then I would much rather have had a radio station that just plays 80 power ballads. It's fucking phenomenal.
It reminds me of when me and our mutual friend drove down to Norwich to see you, and he told me to go into the glove box and pick a tape to put on. Like, unusually charitable about allowing somebody else to pick the music in his car, I have to say. But then it was a fucking long drive, that. So it was important that diplomacy was in use at all times on that journey. So I opened up his tape,
especially once he discovered like half an hour into the journey that you couldn't actually drive.
It wasn't half an hour. We're fucking at Glasgow when he discovered that. Hamilton, in fact, Hamilton. Well, fucking, I mean, I can't believe we went so wrong on that journey down. The journey back, I think, was maybe like 90 minutes to 2 hours quicker because we went straight up the A1 and across at Scotch Corner. Instead, when we drove down to, I made them drive to Glasgow because I knew how to drive to England from Glasgow. So I was like, honestly, ridiculous. But anyway, so I had a look in his glove box and he had Rage Against the Machine's eponymous first album. He had a couple of Muse albums that he'd taped himself off the CD, and he had ABBA Gold. I just thought, I'm not going to mention ABBA Gold just now. I'm going to save it for when me and Nicky are together with him in Norwich, just to wind them up. But what an eclectic. And the thing was, I'm sure in his CD rack, remember his CD rack that he had in Elmbank Terrace? I'm sure he had ABBA Golden fucking CD as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. 100%. I remember seeing that and taking the piss out of him for that as well. 100%, he definitely did. Hey, I don't know, take a chance. Was Vince out of order shagging Madeline?
Yes. I mean,
yes, he was,
only because he found out right just before.
By fucking rifling through her purse. Who does that?
I know.
A dirty fucking cunt. Like, he obviously does that on the reg. Like, he's shagging girls every night. So is he always going through their purse before he sleeps with them? Like, what's he looking for?
Don't know. Clues about what type of person they are. Cash.
I think he's looking at her club card and stuff. Maybe cash. I don't know. But yeah, it's a shame. It's kind of the one thing. Like, he's a likable character, but the fact that he, one, rifles through her purse, but then obviously two, knows that it's Sean's girlfriend before he sleeps with her, leaves me with a bit of a bitter.
Yeah, he should have. He should have made his excuses at that point and left for the evening.
Yeah. Never mind. Oh well. Okay. Okay. Anything else on late night shopping?
No, I don't think so. No, I think I've gone through all my points. Laurie, one thing I would say, Laurie, I'm going to make sure I get his name right. Laurie Ventry, who plays Joe, he's a bit of a black guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I was looking at his IMDb. He's in The Outlaw King with Chris Pine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's just one of those faces that, just seems to be on TV forever and ever. Okay then, so let's put late night shopping through our Swally Awards. So the first award then is the James Cosmo Award for being in everything Scottish.
Well, I think it's Shauna MacDonald, really. That's kind of the only choice, isn't it?
Well, Laurie Ventry, I think, has got a strong case as well, but...
that's very true.
But I think in Swally terms, I think Shauna pips him to the post. And next one then, the Bobby the Barman Award for the best pub.
Well, the only pub really that we see is the bar that Gail and Lenny and Vince are in for their kind of date, where Vince drinks his bottle of Miller Genuine Draft. That's kind of the only bar that's in it. And yeah, I'd go there. It looked a bit like Revolution in Aberdeen type of bar, but yeah.
One thing I noticed in that scene, so Gail, Sean McDonald's character, the bar stool that she's sitting on is ridiculously high because her legs are fucking like the soles of her feet
at the bar.
Yeah, the soles of her feet they must be about like half a meter off the ground when she's sitting on the bar stool. Next one then, the Jake McQuillan Your Teazout Award.
Sean punching Vince. I mean, that's kind of the only violence, but also smashing Errol Flynn's watch is probably more of a teazout, but although it's not on-person violence. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of went with that thing.
Next then, the Ewan McGregor Award for gratuitous nudity. It's not in here.
No, nothing. No nudity. It was surprising for a 2001 film of this kind of ilk, but there's no nudity.
Well, we're going to make up for that on the next episode, so don't worry about it. The Francis Begbie Award for gratuitous swearing.
What did you go for here?
Well, it's not really gratuitous, but the line made me laugh a lot, and it's when Vincent says when they meet him at the bus stop on the way to Saltcoats, and Vincent says to him, "I only fucked your girlfriend. That's Errol Flynn's watch."
That was my second choice. I cracked up at that. But yeah, my first choice went to, I think when again it's Vince, and they're speaking. I think it's talking to Lenny, and he says like he doesn't know the names of people he works with, and Vince says, "Fuck him. Who wants to know the names of a bunch of wingdings?" And it just made me laugh. But yeah, that's I only fucked your girlfriend. That's Errol Flynn's watch. Made me crack up. Yeah, loved that.
Okay, next then, archetypal Scottish moment.
There's nothing I like genuinely. Cases of tenants in the supermarket was the closest I come up with, or a Glasgow City Council street sweeper. There's hardly anything Scottish in this film.
I went for, and I don't know if this is a sort of Scottish thing or not, but I went for Crazy Golf at the Seaside.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't know if it's Scottish, but yeah, I can take it. I can take that. Yes. The only other thing I did have was, I think when Vince is speaking to Madeline, she does say something like about a wee bit, which I thought was like pretty much the only Scottish kind of, colloquialism that you could have.
I think Jody refers to herself as a wee girl at one point as well, doesn't she? I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and then lastly, the Sean Connery Award. Who won the movie for you?
Kate Ashfield won my heart, but James Lance won the film for me. Yeah, I thought he was great.
I've got James Lance as well. Although I've written down James Vance for some reason, but who was another actor. I think he was on The Vicar of Dibley. But yeah, James Lance won it for me.
Yeah, he's great in this. I think a really good performance, and like I say, it's difficult to not like him. You shouldn't like him because he fucks his mate's girlfriend and
knowingly
rifles through her wallet, but you can't help but like him. He's just I think he tries to solve things in the end. But yeah, shout out to Kate Ashfield as well. I think she's fantastic in this. And probably behind kind of Vince, my favourite character. I'd like to have seen more or know more about her backstory. But don't know. Maybe it's best as it was. Okay, well, that was Late Night Shopping. So I am very interested because you've said there's going to be a lot of nudity in the next episode. So it's your choice next time, Greg. Why don't you tell us what we're going to be talking about next time on the Culture Swally?
So I have picked another old film, just turned 20 years old this year. Directed by David Mackenzie and starring Ewan McGregor, Peter Mullen, Tilda Swinton, and Emily Mortimer. I've picked Young Adam, which I've not seen. Which I've not seen since it came out. So I'm quite looking forward to watching it.
I don't think I've ever seen Young Adam, so it'll be the first time for me to watch it. But there's lots of nudity, is it?
I can't remember. I know there's quite a bit of shagging in it, but I don't know if there's. I'm sure it's early 2000s Ewan McGregor, so I'm sure he'll get his cock out at some point. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, that's why we've named the award after him, because he always gets his cock out and everything. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll look forward to watching that. Young Adam, okay, next time on The Swally. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us on cultureswally@gmail.com with any recommendations or anything you've seen in the news you'd like us to cover. Just get in touch with us. Say hello. Drop us a line. We always reply. Or you can follow us on Instagram @cultureswallypod, or you can follow us on Twitter @swallypod. We don't have a Threads account yet because I don't think it's allowed in the Netherlands yet, so I can't set one up. So something about the Geneva Convention, or I don't know why, but it's not allowed. So we're not allowed. But once we do get that, we will set it up. And Greg, we do have a wonderful website as well, don't we?
Yep, you can find us at cultureswally.com with links to all the episodes. An essay about Scottish horror, another one about Scottish television. So yeah, come and check us out. We'll keep you updated on the Deacon Blue World Cup song campaign. Need to tweet Ricky Ross back and tell him to be a bit more optimistic.
Yeah, so on the next episode, when we cover Young Adam, we will give you an update on the Deacon Blue World Cup song. We're going to spearhead this. You know what? Why did we never belching Belle and Sebastian? I mean, that would be a bit of a doer kind of World Cup song, but it would be a fucking, that'll be nice little twee. Yeah. Kind of, we're all going to Germany. We're going to see how we will do. It'll probably be shit. But we'll go. Yeah, that'd be good, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah, great.
Yeah. No, Deacon Blue's better. You're right. Deacon Blue's a lot better. Okay, right. Get tweeting Ricky Ross, Greg. And I'll speak to you on the next episode of The Swally, where we'll look at Young Adam. So, until next time, Greg.
Until next time.
While we stand around here putting fucking tins on shelves, there are beautiful 19-year-old girls in short skirts and tight tops going to clubs, drinking, dancing, hormones exploding like atom bombs. But let's not get too upset here. There's always that final hour when the ladies get desperate and their standards plummet faster than the speed of light. And that is the same hour I get off work.